Hey, what is up guys? This is Anthony, aka BatBomb82, and today I'll be doing a review of the amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Magneto. Now, taking a look at the front, we can see that the figure is in a window box packaging. Turning the box around, we can see lots of comic book-like panels showcasing the figure with his different interchangeable parts and accessories. So with the box out of the way, let's crack this figure open and see what we have inside. And here is Magneto out of the box. And man, I have never both loved and hated a figure more than this Magneto. He is so incredibly cool, but a real pain in the butt to get together. But he is totally worth it and one of the best Magneto figures that I've ever had. But before we take a closer look at the figure, let's take a look at the accessories. So Magneto does come with a decent amount of accessories. Starting off, he comes with 2 interchangeable faceplate with posable eyes, his hair, his helmet, 2 magnetic effect pieces, 2 pairs of interchangeable hands, some replaceable pegs, a clear base with an articulated arm that articulates at 3 points with a clip. So with the accessories out of the way, let's take a closer look at Magneto. Alright guys, now let's take a closer look at the Revoltech Magneto. Now this is a very cool figure that I've been dying to get in my collection. Ever since I saw the promo pictures of this figure, I was like, oh my god, I have to have the Master of Magnetism. Oh, he's so cool. Here's the thing though, he was one of the most pain in the butt figures to get out of the packaging. I mean, putting that cape together was completely ridiculous. All this little like bits of plastic, like this is like cellophane plastic that's wrapped around the figure was just ridiculous to try and take off because it was stuck between the joints. It does come with actual Revoltech pegs like this. I had to replace these 2 right out of the box because these were just not moving whatsoever. I tried heating them up. You know, every trick I could, and they were just not going to budge. So I was most likely going to snap them, so I had to remove them. They were so tight in there that I actually had to use some pliers to pry those things out of there because it looks like they were stuck to the paint of the figure, and it was just a mess, and I was just so beyond frustrated trying to get this together. This hand right here is, I can't switch out that hand anymore because the peg itself split, and we get these other pegs, but we don't get replacement wrist pegs, which sucks. So that hand right there is pretty much on there forever. So again, oh my gosh, it was such a pain in the butt to really get this figure, you know, all put together and how I want them and cleaned up, and yeah, so anyways. But with all that out of the way, I freaking love this dude. Now, if you're not a fan of Revoltech joints, you're going to hate this figure, so you're going to pass. If you're not a fan of this like exaggerated look and muscle structure and kind of like the Marvel vs. Capcom video games, you're not going to like this figure. But if you are and you're into insane posing and you love this style, this figure is going to be awesome. So first I want to take a look at the cape because the cape is just crazy. It is segmented into 3 sections, as you can see. I guess technically 4 if you consider the bottom piece of this. But these, or actually another one right here, so yeah, that's 5. So these are all on Revoltech joints. And you could do a lot of crazy things with those, you know what I mean? A lot of good posing and whatnot, but I'll show that a little later on. But the figure itself, in my opinion, is just gorgeous. That is a badass looking Magneto. And what I do appreciate, there actually is a dark wash. You can kind of see more like in the leg area, where there actually is a wash in the figure itself to bring out the sculpt a little bit and add some texture. That's very cool, and I do like that a lot. The metallic purples on this figure are just insane, in my opinion. Just like they're the perfect purple. That's just really cool. Same thing with the cape. Very nicely done. I love that so much. A very classic looking Magneto, which is very cool too. We have lots of different types of Magneto costumes, and I'm glad they pretty much stayed true to like more his old school like uncanny X-Men look, which I do appreciate. The helmet looks fantastic. Very cool. The face sculpts look very cool. I love this so much. Okay, so let's take out some of the interchangeable parts. So like I said, the wrist pegs are a little funky. You can't just pull those out like this. and the little peg stays in there like that. And sometimes it will come out with the hand, but it's not terrible. You can just get that right back on. This one, like I said, is going nowhere, so that's going to stay on there forever, which I don't mind because I was going to display it anyways. It does come with some fists, you know, some fisted hands. So those are cool, but you want him with his hands out like that, right? What's very cool is that we do get these effect pieces like that. Those are pretty awesome. The little swirl, and it's like some lightning right there, or electricity, whatever you want to call it, or magnetic force. I don't know what you want to call it. And those just have little pegs on them, and you can see a little peg right there, straight in the hand, right in the hole. You can stick those on like that, and now you got some cool effect pieces for Magneto. But the best thing about that is they're actually a magnet right in the center of like that. So you can get anything that's actual metal. Like here's a tack, and that'll stick right to there. That's insane. Like here's another one. Look at that. Boom. You stick the tacks right on it, and they will stay on there. And it's a pretty strong magnet, which is pretty awesome. Just the fact that you could do that kind of thing with an actual Magneto figure kind of takes me back to the old Magneto figure from, what is it, Toy Biz? Was it Toy Biz? And then they had like little metal pieces like in the hand, whatnot. That was very cool. So old school, old school, old school, which I totally love. The helmet is removable. You just pull off the entire head like that. And you can see this is his standard face that he does come with, so you can pull that off. And you can see the standard face like that, which is pretty nicely done. I'll get my camera to focus. And the eyes are removable, so I know it looks a little wonky right there. But you can't just take the little tool like that, and you can see where you plug it into the eyes, and you can move them around and adjust them. That's very cool. But I do like this one a lot more. He's nice and pissed off and angry. That's pretty sweet. That is definitely the one I'm going to use. What's cool about this is you can actually have his hair like that, and the hair looks very cool too. So you can just peg that right into the center like that, and then you can put this head on like so, and now you have an unmasked or unhelmeted Magneto right there, which is very cool. And you could even use the helmet, and you could like hold the helmet separately, which I think is pretty awesome. That's very cool. Or you could just take this head off and then put the hair off, and then just use this face and this little peg right inside the helmet, and you can switch the helmet with the more angry face. Get this little neck piece, get that in there like so, in that little cup, get the peg back on, and now you have the angry face with the helmeted head, which looks rad. I love that so much. So great figure. I love the interchangeable parts and whatnot. Because his cape is so ridiculously back heavy, it's almost impossible to get him to stand. You can do it. It takes some work, but it can be done. Thank God we do get Revoltech stands. You're going to need the stand for this figure. It's gonna happen. You know what I mean? He's gonna fall over like crazy. So definitely use a stand. So let's take a look at the articulation, because in my opinion, that's where a Revoltech figure really shines. So the head and the neck are ball jointed. Those roll around like so, just like that. So lots of good motion. It does turn left and right, can look up about that far, down about that far with the neck, pivot side to side, pretty much anything you need to do. These shoulder pieces for the cape, those are kind of like on little ball pegs too, so those move around and will not really hinder articulation too much, so I do appreciate that. The arms are on these like weird double ball pegs. You know, for people who are into Revoltech, we've seen those joints, and not everyone getting, everyone likes them, but you can go all the way up, you know, swirl all the way around, kind of come across the chest with it because of the way they're shaped, which is very cool. So you can get the arm all the way across the body, which is very nice. You can even rotate on there. We get the Revoltech joint at the elbow, which is very nice. You can even rotate at that. Wrist joints that allows you to rotate, hinge, pretty much anything you need to do. We get a double ball peg in the center area into the crotch and into his upper chest, so that rolls around very nice. Does turn left and right, pivot side to side, crunches forward very well, and it's ratchet jointed, so you can crunch back pretty good. You do get a little gapping in there in the stomach, but it's not terrible. Then you can turn left and right, which is very cool. Now this is where I'm a little weirded out. I don't know, maybe because it's the heftiness of the figure and because it's back heavy. These legs aren't ball jointed or whatsoever, so you can really just kick forward about that much, back about that far. You can't really do the splits a whole lot, and they're cut on a weird, almost like a Y shape right here, so those kind of rotate up in there, and that's really about it. It's a little weird how they did that. Not like really like the Wolverine one. Show this real quick, how you can like do the splits with Wolverine. You can do all of that and whatnot, but Magneto you cannot. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, or maybe my figure is just extremely tight. because I have had that problem with this figure, so I don't know. Let me know in the comments. You get a nice Revoltech joint at the knee. This little kneecap right here is posable too, so that's on a little peg, so you can move that and cover up the joint, which is very cool. Ankle joint allows you to rotate, or see, point up and down. Oh, this rotates too, on the right there on the knee. Point up and down, rotate, you get a nice ankle rocker and toe articulation. And it seems that some of the paint scraped on the back, on bottom of my foot. Well, that sucks. Nothing terrible. But anyways, again, really, very cool figure. I absolutely love this. And like I said, it is a pain in the butt when it was just straight out the box. I mean, I had so much problems. I was almost like ready to just like, you know what, F this figure. Pardon my French. I just don't want to deal with it. This is pissing me off too much. But when I finally just sat down and started working with it and got it all done, man, he is awesome. It's such a great figure. And I'm a big Magneto fan. He's one of my favorite villains in comic books. So if you can get this guy, I know Revoltech figures are a little expensive, and you might have heard a lot of complaints and whatnot about the cape and things like that. But all that aside, he is such a really cool figure. Definitely one of my favorite all-time Magneto figures. So if you can find him, hit up my friends at Ages Geeks. They could probably hook you up with a good deal. So definitely a must-get. So for a quick size comparison, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends Captain America figure, as well as a DCUC Batman figure. And for your Revoltech comparison, here he is standing next to the amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Wolverine and Deadpool figures. And just for fun, here he is standing next to little Lego Bat Bomb. So there it is, guys. My review of the amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Magneto. Now overall, I just think this is a really cool figure of the Master of Magnetism. Yeah, he was kind of a pain just to put together and to get out of the packaging and whatnot, and I did have some minor mishaps. But having him all together and posing him around, he is just incredible. Insane articulation. I love his sculpt and paint apps, and he has really cool accessories and those magnetic effect pieces. He is overall just a great figure, and I think you would absolutely love him for your collections. So for great deals, head over to agelessgeeks.com for awesome action figures like this and all the things you love. So please comment, like, and subscribe. Stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.